Um, I'm not sure outside California too. If everybody, okay, hi everybody, as you're coming in and as we're recording this, you'll be watching this at a later date, and the earthquake is old news. But this morning, so it was actually look,
We know.
speaking of the devil, we knew it,
The
Tom.
devil is here. All the devils are here.
And I can't even say you're late because it is just 4 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank
So
you,
you're not
Julie.
so you're not even late.
I know. I was
So
hoping to be late. That would really push your buttons.
that's it. It's for just flicked it for one. But we're just talking while people are settling in and getting in here. I was talking about this morning the earthquake. So
Everyone,
found out it's okay. So it's about 40 miles east of where I live. Um,
Oh,
so
then you
in
definitely
the
felt it.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the East County. So it's like in they call it San Diego Country Estates or something like that. It's like Ramona, Julian, that area out there. Um, so as it was, so I felt the first one. I was like, oh, here, because it came in two shocks to us. So as the first one came, I was like, oh, here we go. And then the second one came. And as the second one was happening, is I was like, okay, I'm going to get up and go like into our like interior room, because I'm like, oh, I better like get somewhere. And as I was walking, our phone started buzzing like in the middle of the earthquake
The
with the
alert.
emergency thing. So as my family up the coast, I guess that they all got the emergency warning before the earthquake hit. I was like, no, ours came during the hit.
in
Ours
case you're
came,
wondering what's happening right now, it's an earthquake.
it's an earthquake. In case you don't know the earth shaking underneath you right now, it's an earthquake. And like get to someplace safe. But my daughter's friend, or not friend, but a person that lives in her complex was from Florida, and this was the first earthquake that they'd
Oh,
experienced. And as I guess it was a guy, I guess he was having some feelings.
I've been
The
there.
first one's always jarring.
Yeah, it really is because it really is. It catches you so off guard as it's happening.
Right.
But then I think I'm born and raised in California, so I mean, the '70s earthquake shit was falling on my head. I mean, it was just like, it was just you grow up with these things. So that when it first started happening, I was just like, oh, we're having an earthquake. But then as it got stronger, it's like, oh, this feels a little close.
I don't think I'll ever be, yeah, since I'm not from here, they'll always shock me and terrify me, I think.
The big ones in 1985 and 86 in the Eastern Sierra, which were like 6.7
Hmm.
and 6.8. Let me just tell you, that is freaking huge and
Yes.
scary, especially because this is all like on bedrock, right?
Right.
And you can hear it coming. You can hear it rumbling.
Yeah.
And, I was like, I was in eighth grade when those were happening, and it just, I can't, I don't even like just a little shaker. I can't stand them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been outside when we've watched the grass roll,
oh,
like
Oh,
watching
wow.
the grass roll. It's like,
or
oh
a
yeah,
pool,
our
waves in
pool's
the
sloshing.
pool.
Yeah, the pool's sloshing.
When the first alert said 6.4, I think
Yeah,
too.
but I think that's wrong.
Right. Because
I think,
I also I don't know what any of that means. So Anne, my wife who's from here, she's like 6.4. That's big. I
yeah.
was like, oh, that's big.
Ah,
I mean,
Luckily, it wasn't big.
not to say that 5.2 isn't decent. I mean, that's a decent size
Yeah.
earthquake.
Hmm.
oh yeah, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah. And especially, I didn't, because I was trying to figure out, my daughter's the one that told me what fault line it was on. I didn't know the Elsinore fault line goes up like through Temecula and Marietta, up like along the 15 is where that fault line goes. So, anyways, in case you were not wanting to watch what's going on in the national news and you wanted a little local news on what's happening with
That's
earthquakes, that's what's happening. So, how we're going to get some great book recommendations now that will take us all out of whatever, we can all just like kind of go away and read some good books that will
Hmm.
educate and enlighten us. So it's going to go Liz, Andrea, Julia, Tom. So Liz, you're first up. So take us
Okay.
away.
Oh, I have to share.
Okay. I think I set it up for everybody. There we are.
All righty. So, I've been waiting for this. It's really a gem. It's a very short. novel. He's such a beautiful writer. This is Irish poet Sean Hewitt, his first novel, and I know you have some in the store. He wrote a gorgeous memoir, All Down Darkness Wide. Some tough, tough material there about his first love suicide. But this is a novel about a coming of age novel set in a small rural England town village in like 2001, 2002. And our narrator, first person, is James. He's 16 when we meet him. Well, actually, the novel opens as an adult, and he's going back to visit this village, and so he's just flooded with memories. This has some Dylan Thomas kind of flavor. This has nature descriptions that are like Thomas Hardy to me, and one of the characters actually reading Return of the Native in it. But it's a heartbreaking first love novel. And so James is 16. He's really shy. He's just starting to discover his sexuality. There's some brutal scenes set in his high school, just very heart-wrenching scenes. He's lonely. But then he meets this other teenager at a local farm whose parents have shipped him off to live with his uncle because he's a troubled teen. I think his dad is in prison. So they form a friendship, and I won't, tell too much about where it goes. It's just beautiful writing. The editor, Jordan Pavlin, said that reading this, as I said, is reminiscent of Dylan Thomas. And Sean Hewitt, in an interview recently, he was talking about how he writes books that he wished for as a child that he could identify with. And so if you like Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, of course, which I know I cite that all the time because I just think that book is a masterpiece. Call Me by Your Name, certainly. And then Kaveh Akbar's Martyr. If you like those novels, this would be perfect for you and not quite as challenging. Like I said, it's shorter, and because of the natural descriptions and the character development, really just mainly about these two characters, it just goes down very easy. Kaveh Akbar said of it, Sean Hewitt's open heaven blisses with the bright verdure. Leave it to Kaveh to teach me a word, verdure of youth, blackbirds and blossoming hedges, wet hands held tight under buttery starlight. But open heaven also courses with youth's great agony, the cruelty that learning to love should be inexorably followed by learning to grieve its undoing. So that is open heaven.
Wow. Kind of is reminding me a little bit, or there you go. And I haven't read it, but I was thinking of, I can't think of the author who wrote Shuggie Bain and Young Mungo.
Oh yeah, I think he's been compared to
Douglas Stewart.
Douglas Stewart.
Yes, I saw that comp in some of my notes.
And as you were talking and describing it, it was like I was having pictures of that too. So I think if you are a Shuggie Bain or a Young Mungo fan, that this would be right up your alley too.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody said, Kim, asking if I've read Tilt. No, I have not, but I met the author and she's lovely. And some of our booksellers actually have read it and loved it. So it's about a big earthquake in Oregon and what in the aftermath
Oh,
of
Tilt.
that. So,
I was thinking Twist by Colin
yeah,
McCann.
no,
Like,
Tilt.
are you
Yeah,
kidding? Yeah, okay.
Tilt. Tilt is about
Yeah.
so it's about a pregnant woman that she's in an IKEA when the big one hits.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Right.
There you go. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Liz. Okay, Andrea, what you got for us?
I am very excited to talk about Sakaya Murata's new book. The New Yorker came out with this fascinating profile in anticipation of the pub date of her new book. And as you can see here, yes, lots of words, lots of love. And isn't that that's a great photo of her, I think.
Really good.
Yeah. So
And I love Elif Batuman too. So
I do too. She is a genius, so
yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to need to read this.
Yeah, and this is by Alif. It's a profile by Alif Bottoman. So you can't go wrong with two um stone cold geniuses writing today. And let me see. So I want to talk about her new one, Vanishing World. Let me see if I can get out of here and then actually find the book. Sorry, guys.
That's right.
Yes, here. Whoops. Uh-oh. Okay, can you see that? Did I share it? No, I didn't share it, did I?
No, we're still seeing all our beautiful faces.
And I and this just gives me more confidence the next time I'm trying to share and
Right.
having trouble,
We have
which
no
we both
judging
have.
here.
Which we both have.
No technical judging.
I know you guys are
Exactly.
so nice. Here you go. Sorry about that. Okay,
We're
let's go.
booksellers, not producers.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm not at a TED Talk right now. I'm just gonna
Exactly.
calm down.
Okay, first, can I say that cover?
Yeah. It's so great.
It's so great.
Isn't it great? Yeah, so as I said, she's the best-selling author of Convenience Store Woman, also and Earthlings, also published by Grove Atlantic. And this is a highly imaginative um like story that's like revolves around sex between married couples um has basically disappeared, and children are only born by artificial insemination. And then hence this story takes off from there, because you can imagine the dynamics change between people because of this. And there's like a million great quotes. The New York Times book review to to Sayaka Murata, nonconformity is a slippery slope. Reminiscent of certain excellent folk tales, expressionless prose is Murata's trademark. The strength of Murata's voice lies in the faux knife. Oh my God, I can't speak. I'm glad I'm not doing a TED Talk right now. Get me off the stage and never invite me back. Let me see. The strength of Murata's voice lies in the faux naif lens through which she filters her dark view of humankind. We Earthlings are sad, truncated bots shuffling through the world in a dream of confusion. So that's what you get pretty much in like every one of Murata's stories, and this is no different. And her character development is great. She traces like, people through this new world. And I just, let's face it, Japanese literature is the new black, and
Yep.
and it seems to be here to stay. And her arc is rising in the United States, in the English speaking world. And this has been she has the same translator in English, Jenny Tapley Takamori. So she really knows her work well. So that's another plus. And there's a nice stack at Warwick's for you all. Anybody who's interested in like a dark, imaginative, you know, like science fiction adjacent work. So there you go.
Love
Vanishing.
it. Love it. And love that cover. I remember reading back in the day, and I can't think of the author right off the top. Kanura? No, it's not. It starts with a K. But there was a Japanese novel called Out. I think I've talked about it on here before. Where it's just like Japanese, they can go to some very dark places.
Yes.
It's right up my alley. I love it. Thanks, Andrea. All right, Julia.
All right.
Are you going to tease us with cooking again at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to give you David Baldacci.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
So, Strangers in Time is out tomorrow by David Baldacci. Baldacci's sort of been having a bit of a renaissance in these past few books of his. I feel like people are really enjoying coming back to him. And this is another in a series that sort of takes you outside what you normally think of as a Baldacci novel. This is a World War II novel about these three people in London who have to try to keep each other alive. during the Blitz and during sort of, the attacks that were happening in London during World War II. It's these like one of them is a bookshop owner, and it's sort of these three people just that end up finding each other in the ruins of parts of London and how they survive the war. And so it's a really lovely novel. It's like I said, it's sort of outside the bounds of Baldacci, but it has a great sort of thrust to it because he does know how to write a page turner. Um, and so
That's what I was thinking is like, I bet it just like goes. I bet it has a
yeah,
good,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But much like Calamity of Souls, which was his previous book, I think a lot of people are sort of rediscovering their love of David Baldacci through this. And this one is sort of in the same vein.
I mean, David he's a great storyteller,
Yeah.
you
So,
know. And so and I think I think it's interesting. I think it's great that he's picking some topics that are outside of what, quote, like you say, is normal stuff, but he's still a great storyteller.
yeah,
So love it.
exactly. Cool.
I saw him. I never met him, but he was at the BoucherCon when we did it a couple years ago down here in San Diego, and he was like their keynote guy. And he was very unassuming, just hanging out in the lobby, just walking around. And I was like, oh, there's David Baldacci.
That's always good to hear too.
I was sort of like seeing people in the wild sometimes just kind of throws you off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just like
That happened to me with George R. R. Martin once.
it's just sort of like, oh, there's David
I was like,
Baldacci.
who is that? Oh, it's George R. R. Martin.
Unmistakable,
George R. R. Martin.
unmistakable, right?
Yeah.
Unmistakable. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. Dee said that he's not her usual selection for an author, but I was so tempted I got this today. So there you go. Okay.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Okay, Tom.
All
What
right.
you got?
And Julia, did I see that Abby Jimenez went straight to #1?
Number one. Yep.
That was cool to see.
Uh,
I heard you talk about the book, and then yeah.
Yeah, it was Abby Jimenez's Say You'll Remember Me was #1 New York Times and #1 indie bestseller last week. So yeah, thank you to I know Warwick's sold quite a few.
Oh yeah, San Diego's big fans down here of hers. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's pretty exciting.
Congratulations. Yep.
Amazing.
And you heard it here, and you heard it here first.
Exactly. That's what I thought because I wouldn't have heard it if Julia hadn't talked. I wasn't here and Julia talked about it. So
See? There you go.
okay, so my book, I'm having trouble lifting it up, but here it is. It's called Lower Than the Angels: A History of Sex and Christianity. Great cover.
Okay. Great
Big
title.
book. Big book. And in every sense. So Dermot McCullough is the author of, he wrote a book for us many years ago now called Christianity: The First 3,000 Years, which was a definitive, book about Christianity, the whole history. It sold worldwide, it sold like 150,000 copies, got amazing reviews, nominated for every award. So he's back with a similar kind of book, but in this one, he's been a deacon of the Church of England, so he's not impartial when it comes to Christianity and sex, but he brings both a historian's eye. He brings a deep engagement with the subject. So he's telling the whole history and how multiple ways that the sex has been thought of in Christianity. It's not one way. Big surprise, right?
Are you sure?
Yeah. After this book, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
He brings like in the New York Times review that they just released. They capture it just perfectly. They say he brings how do they put it? It says Lower Than the Angels addresses a global Christianity increasingly riven by fierce disagreements over sex and gender. McCullough's hope is that a dose of careful history might lower the temperature of those fights. So he brings an even tone. It's a rave review, but it ends with something that we could apply to a lot of different things. He writes in the book, knowledge is like medicine to soothe a fever. Now the reviewer says, sadly though, medicine only works if you're willing to take it. So I think that's where we're all about. not getting knowledge out there and soothing many fevers. But this is one of them that Christianity has viewed uh, homosexuality, gender, all these things only in one way. Of course, that's not true. And he brings in the whole history of the subject and deep knowledge. So it's scholarly, but still, if you're interested in the subject, very accessible. Lower than the angels, the history of sex and Christianity.
All right. Guess what? I've got a fever in the
So that's an escape, Julie, into the
That is
past.
that is. I'm just reading some of the some of the comments are killing me in here. Guess what? I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more knowledge.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cowbell is not cowbell. Oh, sorry, Tom. No, it sounds like an important book, though.
Yeah, yeah. Very big, important in every way, and
Yeah,
obviously a book that he's been working on for probably a decade or so.
yeah.
Finally, sees the light.
I
Really.
mean, hopefully that there are some people that maybe that should read it will read it.
Yeah, that's right. We can only
There's
hope.
there's that hope. There's that hope.
Yeah.
Hope springs eternal. Okay, Liz, round two. What you got?
Okay, so I'm going to go out of order because I have a perfect segue from Tom's book. Also lowering, can you see Elaine Pagels?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, that's because
But that is a perfect book to follow. And
isn't
while you're
it?
doing that, I just want to add one more thing. One of the reasons I was excited to talk about this book is because it is, I would call it magisterial. The New York Times calls it magisterial. And so I'm not able to describe my books very often as magisterial. Here we are.
Oh, he's taken your word, Andrea. How dare he?
So happy Andrea's here today.
I am so excited that somebody else used that fine word to describe a book, and this is definitely, it sounds like it, you know? I mean, it's a major survey, so.
Oh,
And,
you
and
said major. I was just going to say I'll just take the first three letters in talking about my book, but um,
they're
so
stealing your thunder, Liz.
stealing my thunder. So this is a major, though not a tome. I'm not competing with Tom. That book sounds amazing. But it is a good companion to a one of our best religious scholars, but also really accessible, Elaine Pagels. This was an instant New York Times bestseller. It went on sale a couple weeks ago. She's written a new biography of Jesus, and I hear it took her about a decade to write this. So it is respectful of faith, and yet it's going with a very, historical eye about what was Jesus's life really like. So it really kind of unfolds like a mystery, with each chapter addressing one fascinating question. Why is Jesus said to have had a virgin birth? Why do we say he rose from the dead? Happy Easter on Sunday. Why, why do we say he rose from the dead? Did his miracles really happen, and what did they mean? So she's, Krista Tippett interviews her. She's on the New Yorker radio hour talking about this book, the reviews, the quotes. She's just, she won the National Book Award for Gnostic Gospels. She's written about Adam and Eve, Mary Magdalene, Judas. So it was high time she wrote about Jesus. And I think it's going to be very illuminating to people. And also, not to be controversial, but I like this phrase, take down the temperature. Let's just try and be truthful, realistic, and in a respectful way.
I love it. I love John Meacham's quote on here too.
Yeah.
Sober, wise, respectful, and fearless. That's a great quote.
Hmm.
I love it. So you're not going to have all the Dan Brown controversy, right?
Oh, I've got the new Dan Brown coming in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will never forget. God, why can't I think of the title of the book?
Oh, you're talking about the book I just got 5 copies of, right? Are we talking about the Da
No,
Vinci Code?
Da Vinci Code. Yes. Yes, Da Vinci Code. That just said, oh my God. I think were my kids in Catholic school at the time? I don't know. Might have been before they were in Catholic school, but oh my God. Sending people swirling
Hmm.
was awesome. Okay, yes, Lori, I did watch SNL. You must be speaking of the White POTUS.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It
I
hit
All
mean,
the marks.
all of them. All of them. Even Tiger Woods, man.
I know.
Nobody was safe. It was a thing of brilliance. So, yes. And Weekend Edition wasn't bad either. So there we go. Okay, Andrea, what you got?
I've got a book about art from Brian Eno and Bet A. So this is a collaboration between a musician of some note and a visual artist of some note. Brian Eno came out with what has become a cult classic in 1996 called A Year of Swollen Appendices. It was reissued in 2020 from Faber and Faber, who also publishes this little jewel here. And so we're happy to have another Brian Eno book. This is his first original volume in 30 years. And basically it's a 4.5 by 6.5 small little paper over board book that's going to look quite handsome, as you can see there, exploring the artistic process and what art does for us, and what we get out of it. And as it says here, an inspiring call to imagine a different future from Brian Eno and Bet A. So there's a stack of this at Warwick's, and Brian is really making the rounds right now. I mean, I've seen more activity from him around this book than I've seen in a long time. And he's also collaborating with various musicians on projects. He's blurbing books. I'm seeing these book blurbs by now, and I'm like, what's up?
What's happening?
That's crazy.
Oh, I know, and it's really great, and of course his fans are loving it, and I just think this is going to be something that backlist well, as we say in the trade, once like in a few seasons, because he's got just a rabid and loving group of fans, and they're going to want this book, and they're going to want to buy it for the holidays. So this is
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it'd be a good gift book for sure.
yeah, for sure. So keep an eye on that.
There we go.
What art does.
Brian Eno. Okay. So Amanda's putting on here. We're having an author on Thursday. Martin, I can't think of Martin's last name. Goodman. He wrote the book My Head for a Tree,
Yes.
and Eno's quote is on that. So he blurbed that.
Yes, and Martin, that is my book actually from one of my publishers, and Martin Goodman is also a publisher from one of my favorite small indie presses. So excellent. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad you're hosting him.
I'm glad.
He's a fascinating guy, and it's a really interesting and beautiful.
Interesting topic. Super interesting topic. So yeah, if you're in San Diego, come by and see Martin on Thursday. Okay, Julia.
Okay, my next one is it's about a serious topic. It's called What's Left: We Pass Through the Planetary Crisis by Malcolm Harris, who wrote Palo Alto, which you probably remember from a few years ago. It was a big, thick book about sort of the history of Palo Alto, California, but also sort of California in general. Malcolm Harris, they has been called America's favorite socialist. And he's a pretty radical left thinker. My mother and I often argue about him. And my mom is like a middle of the road Democrat rather than a radical left thinker. and so but this book, what I really was struck by when reading this book was that this is a book about climate change and about like crises like on multiple levels that we're facing, that actually like offers pathways and offers some solutions and offers some ways to move forward. And I feel like we so often don't get that. We so often get a book that's like, here's all the issues,
Right.
and there's no real like guidance on like how we could move forward with any of these issues. And so Malcolm Harris, and I'm not just promoting him because he too is a hometown of Santa Cruz, California, much like me. But he offers some solutions and offers some ways that we might start to build, or maybe perhaps rebuild is the word to use, in order to get through some crises that we are going through throughout the world right now. So
Yeah. And I
yeah,
appreciate that because it's like you can have all these like doom, 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 doom. Okay, I get that, but you got to give us something. You got to
yeah.
give us something that we can do.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like he's so like, even if you maybe he's too far to the left, or like he is a pretty radical thinker. And so even if you feel that way, which I think is, acceptable, like I think he makes you think with these books. I mean, with Palo Alto, with What's Left, like really makes you think about like why things are the way that they are, and then how to move forward into fixing things or making things better. And so I feel like we maybe need that right now.
I think we're in a spot where we need some radical thinking.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
saying. Just saying. Okay. Tom.
Okay. I have a left radical book here. I have
Tom.
The Eights by Joanna Miller, out in hardcover tomorrow. And this takes us back to Oxford University, 1920. That was the first year. So Oxford had been around for 1,000 years and never admitted women. And so this book is set in that first year, and we follow four friends. There's Beatrice, Dora, Marianne, and Otto. They call themselves the Eights because they live on the corridor they live on is Corridor 8. And so they are, trailblazers, though they don't really think of themselves that way, but that's clearly what they are. And the Great War had just ended. The Great Influenza was also just, around and just ending. Lots of stuff happening, plus misogyny, plus you name it. So it's just one of those books that you sink into and deliver. It's a great premise. It's coming of age for these four. It's Oxford University. Who could resist that? The setting, the college setting, and the time period. And she really delivers on all that promise that's in the concept. Oxford has been the setting for, everything from Brideshead Revisited to Saltburn. So you just really, I love books like this. And I don't know that it's going to be like a masterpiece theater, but it certainly should. Like it's like reading a book that's like that. So you know exactly what you're going to get, and she delivers. Tracy Chevalier says, "I came to love these four women as though they were my sisters." So that's The Eights by Joanna Miller.
I love it. Who's the publisher on that, Tom?
That's Putnam.
Putnam. Okay. Yeah. Sounds really good. Sounds like a good book club book.
Yes, yes, very much. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of, even though you sink into the setting and the world, there's a lot of issues that are obviously there to be
Right.
talked about. Yeah.
That probably are still happening today.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Shocking. All right, Liz.
It's
It's
kind of
lightning
making
round.
it's kind of making me think of, our audiobook narrator, like one of our best, Julia Whalen. She also wrote a memoir called My Oxford Year. I mean, it's not the same, but
Oh, right, right.
yeah, she's so
Yeah.
great. Okay, so this is lightning round. And look how slow I'll be
That's
under the
okay.
pressure.
It's coming down and we're doing slow-mo lightning.
Okay, so I was talking to a bookseller recently, who was saying, where are like the new Richard Fords and Raymond Carvers? There's all fours, and there's so many wonderful, great novels and popular novels being written about women of a certain age and their, awakenings. And so anyway, I feel like Andrew Porter is my discovery. This may be his sixth book. He's written a lot of short stories. He's written a mystery, but this is his first book, I believe, with Knopf. and it is a road novel. Vulture magazine had it on a list of books to read if you're going through a divorce, because the main character is Stephen Mills, and he has reached this crossroads in his life where his wife and son have left. They may never return. And so this has created this need in him to find his father who disappeared when he was, I think, like 12 years old. His father had been, so it's set in California in the 80s. And it's got all these amazing vignettes of the 80s and his father and mother who were, I mean, it almost sounds like Stanford or something. He was a big, his father was a major popular charismatic professor. They'd host these pool parties and he'd, eavesdrop on all the adult conversations. And then there was a scandal and a total fall from grace for his father in his profession. And he disappeared after that. So dealing with his own divorce, he decides to hit the road. He travels the coast of California looking for friends and colleagues, people he remembers in his father's circle. So it hits a lot of marks, this nostalgia. The editor says the novel's patron saints are the unlikely trio of Stevie Nicks, Proust, and Antonioni. So thinking like that, I'm also like maybe a little Nick Hornby fans might also appreciate this novel. And I just really love his writing style, and he is most often compared to sort of a new Raymond Carver.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing, and I love those comparisons because it's like it sounds like they'll have something for everybody here. Let's take you off a screen
Yeah,
share.
and he's won the Flannery O'Connor Prize. He's won the Pushcart Prize. He's been around, but for me, he's a discovery, and so I wanted to share about
Yeah,
him. Oh,
love
wait,
it.
don't mean to share again.
Yeah, I just took you
Right
off.
when I said share, it's like I'm on autopilot. Then I tried to share my screen again.
Yeah, just took you off.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like a great one. Sounds like another good one. All right, Andrea, what do you have for lightning round?
Well, as some of you know, Warwick's does a lot of partnering with folks out and about, a lot of offsite events and that sort of thing. They do a lot of interesting programming, largely the brain child or the brain children of Julie.
Thank you.
As she does a lot of glad handing and making of friends across the San Diego region. Well, Warwick's has just partnered with the Currently Reading podcast. And they are, which is really exciting because they're basically featuring 5 key favorite titles of the store that have been selling swiftly. And this is one of those books, Fishing for Little Pike. This came to interest at the store when area Nancy Warwick fell in love with this book, and her recommendations on the staff pick area is basically sold like I don't know like 115 copies or something at this point, which is a lot for a little indie publisher like Restless Books. And so this is the book was out of stock for a while, but we worked with the publisher to get a rush short print run for the store. So this is only available at Warwick's, everyone. And
Seriously, didn't know that.
yeah. And so it's kind of an exclusive right now and very exciting. So basically, this won an award in Finland. So it comes from it's written in the Finnish and it's translated into the English now. And it charts a young woman's annual pilgrimage to her home in Lapland to catch an elusive pike, one of like the granddaddy of all pikes, in 3 days. And the journey is complicated by a like host of like mythical creatures that are thwarting her path, a detective that thinks she might have killed somebody, a deadly curse hanging over her head. It just goes on and on. It's just like this like really rambunctious, rollicking, genre-defying tale that you're not going to be able to put down. It's like a melding of a thriller. There's a romance. It's like eco fiction as well. So it's got a lot going for it, and that's why Nancy picked this book as a staff pick a while ago now. And again, it's now a Warwick's exclusive, everybody.
I did not realize we were Warwick's exclusive on that. But we have to give a shout out to Amanda on this one too, because I think Amanda might have been the one that recommended it to Nancy. So,
Hey, thank you, Amanda.
yeah.
I'm sorry to,
Yeah.
give you short shrift.
No short term, but yeah, wanted to give Amanda her
Uh,
dues.
and I can see you liking this for sure. It's quirky,
Yeah.
Like Amanda does like, the magisterial sweeping quirk.
Ooh, there we go. There it is again. Let's see how many more times we've got two of you talking about it. So
And genre.
genre-defying magisterial. So as Amanda's saying here, Andrea, you have if you are into Finnish Weird, you have some good recommendations for the Finnish Weird books.
Yeah,
which
and
I
a
love.
few just a few Norwegian ones as well. So
I love it. But we have to, yeah, this currently reading podcast is we were thrilled, and Susan Hulbert, who's one of our fantastic customers, is the one that hooked us up with this. And so we did Memoirs of Stockholm Sven was one of them. Havoc was one. I'm trying to remember. Wayward was another one, and I'm trying to think of the fifth one. But yeah, and obviously Fishing for Little Pike. So it was been real. Oh, Anomaly. Anomaly was the other one, which is one of my favorite books. So we got some interesting backlist stuff that they picked to highlight. So it was kind of fun. All right, Julia must have turned off her camera because she switched
Sorry.
positions. That's
I
okay.
to run something quick.
Keeping my brain working correctly. So
Sorry.
Julia's next.
I have a weird Finnish book coming in fall, so I'll make sure to bring
Okay.
it. I'll
There
make
you
sure
go.
that we can all discuss.
Discuss
Okay,
amongst ourselves.
I brought a weird, not weird. I just brought a Easter book because it's Easter on Sunday, so I thought it would be a fun little treat. This is a board book called "We're Going on an Egg Hunt." It's pretty simple, guys. Kids go on an egg hunt.
Thank God. I don't want a complicated egg hunt.
I don't want a complicated egg.
I mean, I don't know much more to say than this, but it's a cute book. It's got sweet illustrations, and these kids sort of go hunting for eggs. It's an Easter book. And so and I know Warwick's has some. It's a board book, so nice and affordable for kids if you're filling up an Easter basket and need a little book to give.
I love it.
It's a really fun one.
And you know what? Sometimes the simpler the better.
Yes, especially especially in a board book. I
And
mean,
especially for little kids, it's just like all they want is to repeat the word. So you're repeating cluck like 400 times on there, and that's what they want.
Right, exactly. I mean,
I want Brian Eno to write a board book.
there you go.
That's the
All right.
opposite of this.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Okay, Tom,
Okay.
finish this up.
Tomorrow we have the 7 o'clock Club coming out. It's called, the author is Amelia Ireland. It's her debut from Berkeley. And Berkeley knows how to pick books that are just hit a sweet spot that is just like hits all the buttons that if you really want a great commercial read, look to books that Berkeley publishes. So this is about 4 characters, all different men and women who they have nothing in common. One's like a disgraced rock star. One is a mother in a failing marriage. There's a young woman who we don't know much about, and a wealthy lawyer. They have nothing in common except they've all experienced loss and they're grieving. They're all grieving. So every Tuesday they come together at 7 o'clock to talk about their feelings. And so we get to know them over the course of the book. Now, in any review of this book, and I won't reveal anything more here, there is a twist like I haven't seen in a book in a long time, that makes you reevaluate everything you've seen before. But it really, really works. So I think this is perfect for if you love Matt Haig, this is for you because it's emotional. It's got a little bit of magic to it. not afraid to engage with deep emotions, and it's just really delivers on all those fronts. So I think that if you're a Matt Haig reader and we are in between Matt Haig books, this is a good one. So the 7 o'clock Club out tomorrow.
I love it. And I love a good twist well done
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
because,
It's
you
a
know,
risk. It's always a risk.
it's a risk, but it's when they're done well, it's just like, and I want it in so many more books that never seem to deliver. So when it does, it's like,
Yeah, that's
love it.
right. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, and I'll have to end with Kim's talking about we're back to the board book. Bet there's some fun Finnish weird board books. If there
Yes.
aren't, we need to maybe come up with one. Somebody needs to come up with one of those. Okay, great books. Thank you guys. You guys, I love every single one of our reps that are here. You've pulled me out of the daily funk of the doom scrolling, which was exactly what I needed. And it makes me feel like we're gonna make it and we're gonna read some good books.
Yes.
And if you want something to just like round out your humanity and how you feel about things, I want you to go on Instagram. My daughter sent it to me. Go look at the San Diego Wild Animal Park, the Circle of Trust, and the elephants during the earthquake, what they did. And it shows live and it shows the earthquake happening. So really, really great.
Love me an elephant.
Yeah, love me an elephant. And so San Diego Wild Animal Park, Circle of Trust. You'll see it on Instagram. All right. Come and see Martin Goodman on Thursday if you're around in San Diego. We'd love to have some great attendance for him for that book. I think it's a really interesting topic. And we have some amazing things happening in May. Too many for me to even try to tell you all about. So go to our website and go and look what's happening.
I'm not going to be here next week. I have sales conference meetings in Berkeley, so I'm going to miss you guys.
We will miss you too. So hopefully we'll see Tom, Julia, or Liz. Hopefully you guys aren't busy next week and will join us. Andrea, have a good sales conference. You'll come back with some good stuff for us, I know.
Yeah, I'm reading some really fine manuscripts right now. It's exciting. It's going to be
awesome. Yeah, this year's been a really stellar year. I've read so many good books this month. It's incredible. Tom, we've got yours lined up. I'm ready to go. All right. Okay, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.